Hi friends, I hope you're having a great day out there in your gardens. Today is one of my favorite days out here in the garden because we're going to be planting lots of different bulbs in the same garden. You know, I love planting all kinds of plants, trees, shrubs, perennials, annuals from seed, but my favorite thing to grow is flower bulbs. I think that's because you can get really creative in terms of imagining what the picture will be, and then you're filled with anticipation all winter long as you wait to see if what you imagined in your mind's eye really comes to fruition. A few weeks ago we started on this rose cutting garden, and the first thing we did was add definition to the space. We gave it some bones and some structure by adding in a row of sprinter boxwood. That sprinter boxwood hedge picks up where our daffodil and muscari hedge ends. So right as that ends, the sprinter boxwoods start, and then they continue into this open box back here. We already planted 9 Princess Charlene de Monaco roses in this area. And now what I'm doing is coming back through with a ground cover and also bulbs that are going to bloom from the beginning, well, not the beginning of March, I think probably from the beginning of April through the end of June. That's kind of what I'm going for back here. So in the very, very back of this bed, we're going to have Eastern moon lilies, but I don't have those bulbs yet. So I just left that space open for now. Now working from the back forward, we have the gladiator alliums. Those are those white golf ball looking bulbs. And I have those spaced about a foot apart, and those will bloom in May. Mixed in amongst the gladiator alliums, I have copper image tulips, which is a beautiful copper tulip, almost a rose coral terracotta color, a double tulip. It really looks just like a peony. And then in the front, I have the Fritillaria persica, which is an amazing, quite expensive bulb, unfortunately, but it is worthwhile buying because it brings a dainty, deep purple bloom into the late spring garden. So that's a look at how I have the bulbs laid out. The Fritillarias in the front, mixed in with the tulips, the alliums behind them, and then eventually we'll have lilies in the very back. A very tall lily, Eastern moon, reaches heights of 6 feet tall. And then in between each rose, I'm coming in with Roseanne geraniums. I've placed 1 Roseanne geranium in between each rose. And then I've done the same thing. I've filled in around the front with the Fritillarias and the tulips, and then back behind that I came in with the gladiator alliums. And once our lilies come in, I'm going to pop these trellises out and add a huge row of Eastern moon lily to the back of this bed. But I just wanted to show you what the bulbs look like laid out on top of the ground before I plant them. Because sometimes I think this is more helpful than seeing the bulbs being planted, seeing how they're laid out. And it's just fun to imagine this new picture. I want to place the alliums a little bit farther back because their foliage dies back as they begin to bloom, so I want to disguise that a bit. The Fritillaria foliage stays looking pretty nice as it dies back, so I don't mind that being in the front, but it'll still be shielded by the boxwoods. And speaking of allium foliage, let's talk about how all allium foliage is not created equal. So take for instance a picture of Globe Master, Ambassador, Pinball Wizard, and Gladiator. If we just look at the small square image that most suppliers give us, showing us just the bloom, they all look very similar. However, the foliage and the bloom time is completely different. We could probably even include Purple Sensation in this list. So let's start with the bloom time first. Purple Sensation is going to bloom first, then followed by Gladiator, then Pinball Wizard and Globe Master around the same time, and finally Ambassador will bloom last. Ambassador has ginormous foliage. I'm talking like this big around. The foliage, huge leaves, an incredible amount of leaves, and it takes forever for that foliage to die back. If you're going to plant ambassador, I would definitely plant it in the back of the border and disguise that ginormous amount of foliage behind something like a shrub. Now, Globe Master and Gladiator look relatively similar in terms of the bloom size, the height of the plant, and the leaf structure. The main differences are Gladiator is normally cheaper, it blooms a little bit earlier, and its foliage dies back quicker. So if I have to choose between Globe Master, which is more expensive and the leaves take longer to die back, versus Gladiator, which blooms sooner, comes back really reliably, and its foliage dies back quickly, I'm always going to go with Gladiator. If I could only plant one allium in my garden, it would absolutely be Gladiator, and it's nice that it's not incredibly expensive. There's two more varieties that are often sold, Purple Sensation and Pinball Wizard. I really do like Pinball Wizard. That one is shorter. I don't have any of these stats in front of me. I'm just going off the top of my head with how I remember them acting in the garden. I feel like Pinball Wizard was about 2 feet tall. You definitely need to hide that foliage, but it's not a ginormous mound of foliage, but the foliage is very long and it lays flat on the ground, so it is going to mat down things that are around it. Purple Sensation, I don't know why I don't like that one, but I just don't. It's more of a purple pink allium. The bloom heads are smaller. It just doesn't do anything for me, but it's generally on the cheaper side, and it blooms early, so that is a positive. This time of year, it can be really challenging to find lots of the same exact plant in the nursery. So what I do is I just go shopping online, and I found 18 Roseanne geraniums at Fast Growing Trees. I had ordered from them before. Last year, I think I purchased some, I can't remember what kind of oak leaf hydrangea, but some kind of oak leaf hydrangea I purchased from them, and it's doing really well. So we have 18 Roseanne geraniums to plant. This is a perennial geranium that's going to spread out in no time at all and just completely cover this area with purple blooms. This is a full sun area, which is exactly what they want. I wanted a low growing plant to cover the ground here, and I also wanted a good companion plant for roses. I've always heard that salvia is a great companion plant, but salvia in my area, maybe because we get so much rain and we're so humid, it just gets ginormous, and it would just completely take over this area if I planted that here. So I'm going with Roseanne geranium because I read on a few rose websites that this is a good companion plant for roses. I just don't want to put anything over here that's going to attract even more Japanese beetles than we already have, and I don't want to overcrowd the area because I do deal with black spot in my area. So I still want to keep a lot of nice air around these plants. I'm also planting alliums because they're a member of the onion family, and they will help deter pests like aphids, which also like roses. So I'm trying to do some specific companion planting when it comes to really filling in this garden. I don't just want to stick any old thing near these roses, especially since I live in an area where roses can have a lot of pest and disease problems. So fingers crossed that I've made the right choice, but let's give this a try and see how our first year is with our rose cutting garden. When I'm planting perennials and bulbs in the same bed, oh, look at all those worms. Oh, we have to be really careful with our worm friends. Okay, friends, here I come with my shovel. Watch out. Great to see all these worms in the ground, especially considering what the ground looked like here only 2 years ago. What I was going to say is I like to plant shrubs and perennials first and then fill in around those with our bulbs. Oh, so much fun. I love this time of year. Let's see what this plant looks like. Oh, that's lovely. Where did my worm friend go? Hopefully back down into the earth. Where are you, worm friend? Whenever I'm planting lots of bulbs around existing shrubs or perennials, I love to use a stand-up bulb planter. It's really easy on your body and it makes fast work of bulb planting. This is not sponsored at all. I paid for this product, but I absolutely love it, so I want to tell you about it because it's super cheap. I'll put a link down below to it on Amazon. It's called the Weasel Bulb Planter. I'm guessing it's about 3.5 to 4 feet tall. That's the perfect height for me. I'm 5'5". All you do is push down, twist a little bit. It makes a new hole for you while at the same time pushing out the soil from the hole that you just dug. So it gives you a hole perfect for planting, 6 inches deep, pointy side up, although don't worry about that too much. Bulbs will always fix themselves. And then you can just take these plugs that it pops out and just cover over your tulip with that. I mean, this just makes life so much easier. I used to plant everything with a hand trowel, and that got old really fast. And I have to give you an update on these elegance pansies. Oh my word, I told you they were damaged in shipping, so I had to remove the initial blooms. But they started pushing new blooms in no time at all. It's probably only been a week since I removed those first blooms. I cannot believe how gorgeous these are. I'm gonna cut off all of these and press them. That's what I'm gonna do this evening. I planted about half of the Roseanne geraniums, and I cannot wait until these fill in and cover the ground with purple blooms. I wanted to pause here because I think I have some Roseanne geraniums in the main flower walk that are in full glorious bloom. So let's go take a look at those. This is the perfect purple. It's a pinky purple. It leans a little bit towards blue. In fact, in my camera right now, it's showing up as a true blue, but in person, it's just the most extravagant violet. And you know what? This plant looks good almost all growing season. Well, friends, I started that project Friday morning. Now it's Sunday afternoon, but I haven't been able to get back into the garden because it's been raining nonstop. So I'm probably going to have to wait until later on this week to finish getting all of those bulbs in the ground. But I can't wait to see that new rose garden in bloom. It's going to be gorgeous. Speaking of bulbs, it's about time that we started putting our Amaryllis into dormancy and ordering new Amaryllis for 2025. I mean, how can I resist? I can't resist buying a few more Amaryllis. This year, I limited myself to 33 Amaryllis. Aren't you proud of me? Remember that one year when I ordered over 100 Amaryllis? I don't know what I was thinking. And when my husband saw the bank account, yeah, let's just say that's the last time I'll ever order 100 Amaryllis without telling him ahead of time. So this year I ordered 33 Amaryllis, and I decided to primarily order whites and reds. I really want to go for an extravagant Christmas Amaryllis display this year. So here's my plan. I just put my entire existing Amaryllis collection in the basement. They're going to stay in the basement where I won't water them for 2 to 3 months. So when I'm looking for a place to put my Amaryllis for this dormancy period, I want a dark, cool place that's about 50 degrees Fahrenheit. During that 2 to 3 month period, I'm not going to water the Amaryllis at all. I'm going to let the leaves die back naturally. So they'll start out being these gorgeous green strappy leaves when you put them in the basement. And as those months pass, they will just shrivel up and die. That is exactly what they are supposed to do. Then after 2 to 3 months have passed, I bring the pots back upstairs. I refresh the top of the pot with fresh potting soil, give them a nice deep drink to help wake them up, and then I put them in a nice, very warm and bright spot to bloom again. So also when I bring them back upstairs, I just remove those brown leaves because they're going to push out all new leaves on a brand new bloom stalk for you. So according to this timeline, putting them into dormancy in October. I'm probably going to bring them out of dormancy in mid-January, and then they'll bloom in late February into early March. But I can't be without Amaryllis over the holiday season, and so that's where these new orders come in. I go to the Longfield website, I see what varieties I know and love, the ones that I know are early blooming and reliable, and I purchase new bulbs to bloom for the holiday season. So if you're just looking at a website and you want to know which variety that will bloom, oh, here comes Rocky. Yeah, I'm so glad you came to see me. Okay friends, back to what I was saying. Say you're shopping for Amaryllis and you want to make sure and have these Amaryllis blooming for Christmas. You want to look for bulbs that are labeled early blooming, holiday blooming, Christmas blooming, or Southern Hemisphere. Some suppliers don't say early blooming, holiday blooming. They just have a selection of Southern Hemisphere bulbs and Northern Hemisphere bulbs. A Southern Hemisphere bulb is going to wake up and start growing immediately versus a Northern Hemisphere bulb is going to sit there for a while before it pushes new leaves and blooms for you. So if you want one blooming for Christmas, you want to buy one from the Southern Hemisphere that's either marked Southern Hemisphere, early blooming, holiday blooming, or Christmas blooming. Now let's talk varieties, and please let me know, what is your favorite Amaryllis variety so I can go out and buy 7. I'll just use cash so my husband doesn't find out. Okay, the first one I ordered we've grown before. Actually, I think all of these we've grown before. You know, sometimes you just know what you love and you just want to order more of the same thing. So I ordered 7 Mandela Amaryllis. This is a very dark maroon Amaryllis. It is so elegant and classy. It's the darkest red Amaryllis I've ever grown. I adore it. The other thing I love about Mandela is that it's outward facing. You can have upward facing Amaryllis, outward facing, and even downward facing Amaryllis. I like outward and sometimes downward. I rarely like upward facing unless I know I'm going to use it in a mixed bouquet where I need it to hold its head upward. But if I'm just using it in a display around my house, I much prefer an outward facing bloom. Next up is my favorite double white Amaryllis. It's called Alaska. So this is a double white Amaryllis with a green center, but these bulbs produce so many flower stalks and so many flower heads that it's like having a ginormous living bouquet of Amaryllis on your dining room table or in your living room. I mean, it's just phenomenal. If you like white Amaryllis, I don't think there is a better white Amaryllis than Alaska. Next up is Red Pearl. This one is gorgeous because it has 2 different red tones in the petals. It has a deep maroon, but also a vibrant crimson. So you're really getting this look of streaking without going red and white, but you're getting a lot more dimension with Red Pearl than you do with something like Mandela. Mandela is just a deep maroon Amaryllis, whereas Red Pearl does have that striping and that dimension. I've grown a number of different double reds throughout the years, but the one that I always go back to is Double King. I would classify this red as a Santa Claus red. It is just pure red. It's not a blue red. It's not a lighter yellow red. It is just that perfect true red. I also noticed that as Double King matures, the tip of the petals turns white. I mean, you can really watch this happen as the days progress. So if that's kind of the theme of your house, just pure red, that kind of red satin bow red, Double King is probably a good one for you. Okay, Spartacus. You know, we always see Minerva in the grocery store. That's the one that's red and white that we all know that's readily available in boxes. Try Spartacus instead. The red is more prevalent on Spartacus. It looks more like a red amaryllis with a large white star in the center versus Minerva, which kind of looks like streaks of red and white together. The next two are total showstoppers, Elvis and Showmaster. I've only grown these varieties once and I only have one bulb of each variety, so I ordered 3 more of each. Elvis is a double amaryllis. It's primarily white, but it has some red edging on the petals and also some speckling and freckling and a little bit of streaking towards the center. It's more unusual than other double varieties that I've grown. I like the red because it's kind of subtle, but it's still there, so you get a lot of dimension on the petals. It's just fantastic. I would really recommend you try Elvis. Showmaster. Okay, I got Showmaster last year and I'm guessing this bulb came from Holland because I remember it bloomed really late. It was blooming in March or something. But Showmaster is a red and white amaryllis that looks like someone threw blood all over the petals, and then all of the petals have a red margin. It's really phenomenal. It's one you just have to see in real life because it almost seems to glisten, those blood speckles. I ordered 2 Ruby Star Amaryllis. I'm not sure I'm going to love this one. It looks like probably one of its parents was a butterfly amaryllis, which I don't tend to like, but I want to give it a try and see what it's like, and I'll put a picture of it on the screen. Not my picture, but so you can see what it looks like. I wanted to order it because it's a red amaryllis. Last year, for the first time, I grew Glee. And I'm on the fence about Glee. I only ordered 2 more bulbs. It's nice. It's a white amaryllis with red streaks. I don't know. What can I say about it? It's not my favorite, but it's beautiful. I'll put it on the screen. Tell me what you think. Let me show you what else I'm working on today. HoseLink sent out some new solar lights, and I'm already starting to decorate for Christmas. So they sent out 5 more sets, and I'm just placing them on the tree, and I'm trying my best to get all the way to the top. I'm gonna have to get out an orchard ladder to get to the top. But I love these lights, and even when I woke up this morning at about 6:30, this strand right here that goes to the library was still on. I mean, these are amazing solar lights. Speaking of solar lights, let's do an evening garden walk and talk. I've added some more solar lights into the garden, and the garden is looking good from sun up to sundown thanks to all these trees and shrubs being uplit by large spotlights. Right here at the entrance, I have a spotlight pointing upwards on our gorgeous serviceberry tree. And I've also lit up every single one of our limelight hydrangea bushes. These all have a solar spotlight from HoseLink underneath them, and they often stay lit up well into the morning. The spotlights work really well. Many days I'm up at about 4:30, and often the limelight hydrangeas are still all lit up. I have the solar party string lights all throughout the length of the garden now. The Henry Studio fountain is also providing us with some beautiful light this evening. I think this year for Christmas, I want to go 100% solar so that I don't have to plug anything in at all. Even the lights that I'm using in the library are either battery operated or I charge them via USB port. So here's the Christmas tree that I was showing you this morning. I have a few more to decorate, and the sun is setting there in the distance. You can see I didn't make it up to the top, but good enough. I think I still got the shape of a tree lit up. I also really like these table lanterns from Hoselink, and you can tap them and make them brighter or dimmer depending on your needs. 2 spotlights pointing at our Henry Studio pots and the pumpkins at the moment. And then each of our side tables near the Adirondack chairs also have those wonderful solar lanterns. And then surrounding us in the book nook, I have the solar pathway lights, and they get brighter as you walk by them. So they turn on in the evening, but it's a nice subtle light, and then as you walk by them, it gets brighter and brighter. Here in the library, the only thing that I have plugged into an outlet is this Tiffany-like lamp, and also the fireplace, which I don't have on right now. Sorry about that. These LED candles I got on Amazon, and they're run on batteries. So are the candles in the windows. And then these 2 sconces here, they aren't hardwired. They are rechargeable light bulbs, which I adore, and they work so well. They hold a charge for at least 2 to 3 weeks. I've been really impressed with those. Let's move backwards through the garden now, so you can get a better look at those solar pathway lights. It looks like they're on their brighter setting at the moment. Maybe I'll have to ask my husband for some help getting the lights up a little bit further in our Christmas tree this year. Moving back toward the Chase lounges, we have some more solar party string lights. And just like I hope that you always feel like my garden is giving you a hug in the daytime via plants, flowers, and of course hydrangeas, I hope that in the evening you're hugged with beautiful, subtle, and romantic lighting every which way you look. I do believe that last year I had some solar lights on our hummingbird arches, and I definitely need to put those back, don't I? It's really missing something with the arches being bare in the evening. But friends, I want to thank you so much for watching today's video. I'll link all of these solar lights below if you're interested. And I'll also link the video where I shared with you how you can connect a Hoselink hose reel to a rain barrel, because that has certainly been a game changer. I want to thank Hoselink for sponsoring today's video, and for all of you for your continued support. I could not do it without you. Thank you, dear friends. I'll see you back in the garden sometime soon. Bye.